The power of the universe is not far away in the stars. It pulses within your awareness, mathematically confirming every thought and experience. An invisible rule is at work, transforming your inner world into an external experience. When you realize this divine resonance, you will no longer battle with life. You agree with it, listen carefully, and you will awaken the power that orchestrates galaxies and manifests itself through you. The might of the universe. Introduction. There is a river of infinite wisdom flowing silently within you. The very power of the cosmos, embodied in your consciousness. It answers to you with unwavering precision, mirroring your inner world as faithfully as still water does the moon. It does not pause to consider what you label great or tiny, worthy or undeserving. It simply responds to the energy you embody, transforming thought and emotion into lived experience. What you believe is not a transitory fad. It is a formative substance. What you feel isn't transitory. It's a magnetic decree. Every image in your mind becomes a nuanced blueprint, and every emotion is a summoning to the vastness. The cosmos does not deliberate on your desires. It mirrors them mathematically, responding to both your conscious objectives and your underlying assumptions. Sages throughout history have guarded this knowledge with parables and symbols. They realize that your mind is not distinct from the creative power. It is that power becoming aware of itself through you. When you choose your thoughts intentionally, you are not just imagining. You are engaging in the same force that spins planets and scatters stars over infinity. However, this power is not compelled by strain. It moves with harmony rather than force. Rivers flow effortlessly into the sea. Manifestation occurs when your ideas, emotions, and actions align with universal law. Resistance, not. The current alignment releases it. You are not compelled to wrestle with reality or beg for its favor. The key is inner concord. When your condition of being corresponds to what you seek, the universe's strength expresses itself through you quietly and inevitably. This is not a superstition. It is sacred mechanics, the accurate and impartial application of cosmic law in response to the consciousness that you are. Above all, remember that the power is not far away and does not need to be summoned from the sky. It breathes like you do. It beats like your heart. It is only waiting for your recognition, agreement, and eager cooperation. Before we get into the book discussion, I'd like to affirm your intentions to the cosmos. Part 1. The Invisible Law at Work. Chapter 1. The Initial Answer of the Universe. Long ago, in a thriving market town, a trader named Martha Reed spent her days counting complaints like copper coins. Every morning brought new problems, and the weather was moist. Her competitors were too fortunate, and her consumers were too few. With every expression of discontent, her environment appeared to darken progressively, as if the very air worked against her tranquility over months of growing frustration. Martha didn't realize how her words intertwined with her experience until one day, when a wandering sage stopped by her booth. Rather than arguing, he merely watched while she lamented her problems. He asked softly, "Are your words like seeds scattered in fertile soil? Have you ever pondered what crops you harvest?" This simple question revolutionized Martha's comprehension. She began to keep track of her thoughts as meticulously as she did her inventory. When she spoke of beauty, it multiplied before her eyes. When she expressed thankfulness, abundance came naturally into her life. Her days reorganized themselves into patterns of ease, not because the world had changed, but because she had adjusted the signal she sent into the universe. The law of resonance works with perfect precision, amplifying any frequency you broadcast, much like a musical note that causes similar strings to vibrate in unison. Your energy causes ripples, which return to you with mathematical precision. The universe does not care whether your vibration benefits you. It only accentuates what you say. Elmer Tate, an artisan from the same town, found the truth on his own voyage. His passions rang out like temple bells, yet doubt lingered beneath them, he would declare his worthiness for achievement, while secretly suffering feelings of inferiority. The universe is the ultimate amplifier. Return both signals in equal proportions, creating a life that seemed to be constantly caught between accomplishment and failure. Your relationship with universal power exemplifies the resonance principle. Each idea, sensation, and proclamation creates waves in the cosmic sea. I'm coming back to you with renewed vigor. This is not punishment or reward, but rather the inevitable result of universal law practice. Sunlight resonance. Find a quiet time when the sun hugs you. Allow its warmth to remind you of the universe's unwavering presence. Bring to recall 3 small pleasures from your previous experience. Perhaps the flavor of morning tea, a child's giggle, or a moment of quiet. Allow each joy to spread throughout your chest, becoming stronger and clearer. Feel this warmth transform into a direct line of connection with the universe's creative power. Allow your thankfulness to vibrate outward, knowing that it will be duplicated. Chapter 2. The law behind every emotion. The law of resonance molds your entire experience, weaving the tapestry of your reality together with the tiny threads of your emotional state. When you understand this reality, you open up the holy dialogue between your inner world and the cosmic forces that choreograph life's events. Consider the knowledge gained from Ruby Cole's journey. Her frustrated tears sprouted seeds, resulting in more situations warranting tears. Each sob served as a beacon, attracting situations that mirrored her emotional frequency. However, the instant she allowed a real grin to adorn her lips, the universe's timing began to flow more gracefully. Her narrative illustrates that emotions are the universal language used to communicate with the infinite intelligence that surrounds you. Walter Finn's story reveals this truth even more. Despite his lack of awareness of his function as creator, he made decisions based on fear. As pandemonium expanded in perfect harmony with his inner instability, each nervous thought acted like a magnet, drawing additional scenarios that validated his worry. It wasn't until he learned the power of emotional neutrality that cosmic forces began to align themselves more harmoniously with his existence. You must understand that the cosmos does not classify your emotions as positive or negative. It simply interprets your emotional signals as instructions and responds with mathematical precision to enhance the signal you transmit. Your feelings are more than just reactions to life. They are creative forces that influence the fundamental fabric of your experience. When irritation clouds your day, it is not a result of circumstances working against you, but rather a reflection of your inner mood. Back to you. Recognizing this reflection confers strength. Each emotion acts as a message, revealing the type of energy you are now contributing to. The universal flow. This was a well-known secret among the ancient ones. Mastery of life begins with mastery of one's emotional condition, not through repression or denial, but rather through conscious knowledge and gentle guidance of one's inner environment. Maintain sacred emotional alignment. Find a calm moment and let your breath serve as your anchor. If restlessness arises within you, resist the temptation to combat it. Instead, notice its presence with a compassionate awareness, as if you were a skillful gardener caring for your plants. Develop your emotional condition towards calm appreciation. Watch as your surroundings begin to respond, adjusting slightly to reflect your inner harmony. This method, passed down through generations of wisdom keepers, creates a pathway through which global forces can align with your best interests. Chapter 3. The Mirror of Intention. A sacred truth has echoed down the ages. Your emotional resonance shapes the reflection that life offers. This insight is well manifested in the story of Agnes York, whose external goals collided with her inward concerns. Though her lips spoke of progress, her heart held shadows of unworthiness. The universe's limitless wisdom could only reflect back the dominant frequency she possessed. The law recognizes no trickery. It responds to the energy you emit, not the words you say. Water takes the shape of its container. Universal forces conform to your most deeply held ideas. Agnes' experience demonstrates how even the most intense wishes get diluted when combined with the waters of doubt. However, contrast evolved as a result of Clyde Burke's grasp of this principle. Rather than wishing fervently for what lied ahead, he turned his current position into an altar of appreciation. Each work and moment became his offering to the universe, not as a desperate appeal, but as happy preparation. He knew that current circumstances serve as a foundation for future blessings. By embracing his current status as a hallowed training ground, he synchronized his entire being with the rate of advancement. The cosmos responds to your vibrations rather than what you say you want. When Clyde recognized his current position as a stepping stone to higher success, he removed the resistance that Agnes had inadvertently built. His advancement came about naturally, rather than by force or effort, like a flower blooming in its proper season. This eternal law works with mathematical precision. Your emotional state generates a resonance that must find a counterpart in physical reality. Words alone cannot override the energy you emit. The cosmos perceives your genuine frequency and responds accordingly, reflecting back the precise quality of your belief and emotion. An ancient practice. Before focusing on what you want to attract, choose one deep desire in your heart. Pause to express real gratitude for your current circumstances. Spend time blessing. What does it mean to let thankfulness wash any anxieties or doubts about the future? Notice how this shift in emotional energy begins to polish the mirror of manifestation, allowing your desires to reflect back to you. When your heart is genuinely aligned with joy in the present now, the way to your desires opens spontaneously without effort or strain. Chapter 4. The Magnetic Conversation. The ancients understood a fact that modern seekers frequently overlook. The language of creation communicates through vibrations, not volume. This knowledge is evident in the story of Nora Dale, who found that the gentlest whisper, when filled with pure emotion, has more power than the loudest demands. In times of need, Nora would find a quiet spot and address the cosmos, not as a beggar approaching a harsh master, but as a child confiding in a loving parent. Her prayers became intimate chats. Each word was carried on the wings of compassionate trust, not desperate pleading. As she changed from demanding to communicating, the universe's answers become more smooth and precise. The law works through resonance, not rhetoric. When you approach the limitless power with true feelings, it responds to the quality of your emotion rather than the order of your words. Nora's experience demonstrates that the universe recognizes the vibration beneath your requests rather than the eloquence of your appeal. This reality was further expressed by Benny Ross, who perfected the art of charged quiet. He knew that words can muddy the pure river of intention in quiet. He would keep his desires in unbroken focus, allowing his conviction to speak louder than any verbal declaration. The cosmos responded to his silent dialogue with the consistency of a loyal friend. Your interaction with universal forces is still alive, whether you realize it or not. Every idea and feeling sends a signal to creation, which must respond. Even when there is silence, the communication does not pause. You send your expectations into the cosmic field. What differentiates is the clarity of your message. When Benny adopted purposeful silence, he removed the static that frequently impedes communication with universal intellect. His serene conviction established a clean conduit through which his intentions might flow freely. The outcomes arrive with natural ease, like leaves turning toward the sun, an ancient practice. The sages passed down this unique technique for cleaning your communication with universal forces. Pause in the silence between thoughts while reflecting on your heart's desires. Give an internal yes, not a term, but a sense of complete acceptance. Allow this assertion to extend beyond your mind, flowing like warm honey through each cell in your body. Feel it reverberating in your fingertips, your chest and feet. Stay with this experience until you feel your own beat, synchronizing to the universal pulse. Two hearts beat as one. This balance holds the key to seamless manifestation. Chapter 5. The Signature Thought. Within the immense weave of reality, your words create patterns that the universe faithfully reproduces. These patterns, formed via repeated thoughts and pronouncements, serve as the blueprint for your world. The ancient masters recognized this deep reality. The phrases you repeatedly repeat are seeds planted in the lush soil of limitless possibilities. Consider the story of Clara Page, whose lips frequently formed the words, "I never have enough." With each remark, she unintentionally created deeper grooves in the cosmic field, laying the groundwork for scarcity. Her narrative exemplifies a timeless wisdom. Thought precedes manifestation, just as the architect's concept preceded the building's form. When she talked of a lack, the universal forces adjusted circumstances to match her assertion. Her liberty, however, rested inside this very rule. Clara came to understand the power of her words. She actively altered her internal dialogue. The transition began subtly, with careful retraining of mental processes towards efficiency. Her declarations altered, and so did the general response, illustrating that the law operates equally well in all directions. Henry Nash's voyage reveals another aspect of reality. He noticed that building an abundance vocabulary resulted in an altogether different resonance in a world of infinite possibilities. His thoughts and words became like master keys, unlocking doors that appear to be permanently locked with each declaration of abundance and acknowledgement of sufficiency. The universe reconfigured itself to match his new pattern. The strength of this law comes not in sporadic utterances, but in a consistent rhythm of confidence. When you repeatedly affirm abundance, you aren't just saying words. You are setting a vibratory frequency that the cosmos must match. This is not magic, but mathematics, and not a miracle, but law. Throughout the day, ancient practice will serve as a witness to your internal dialogue. Take note of the statements that come easily to mind. Pause when you notice yourself talking about limitations. Take each thought and purposefully change it into an expression of appreciation and abundance. Feel the energy shift as fear turns into potential. For example, if I cannot afford this, restructure it to, I am grateful for all the resources that come into my life when nothing seems to work out. Transform it into, I enjoy how things constantly work out for my best interests. As you work through this metamorphosis, observe how the texture of your consciousness shifts from rigid patterns of concern to a wide field of opportunity. This is not just positive thinking. It is a deliberate application of universal law, passed down via generations of wisdom keepers who recognize the creative potential of thinking. Allow each rewritten statement to dwell in your heart until it feels natural as breathing. The cosmos responds not to the words themselves, but to the emotion they evoke within you. This is the ancient art of conscious creation, which is open to anyone who wants to master it. Chapter 6. The Current of Faith. Long ago, in a distant village, there lived a woman named Josie Moore, who recognized a reality most others ignore. The cosmos functions on perfect timing, while others rush to force outcomes. She moved with quiet awareness, allowing life to unfold like petals, revealing the morning light. She nursed her garden and craft every day, believing that what was meant for her will arrive when she was ready. The universal law is revealed through such stories. Faith conducts creation's electricity in the same way that power runs through clear connections. Your trust enables divine timing to orchestrate events with faultless accuracy. When you let go of control, you become a clear channel for miracles. Vernon Gibbs took a different path, believing he needed to influence every element. He tired himself by attempting to bend reality to his will. His story emphasizes the cost of resistance and how forcing creation results in stasis in the cosmic current. Each attempt at control depleted his energy until he stood empty, understanding that surrender precedes grace. These different journeys demonstrate the law of divine timing. The cosmos is controlled by an intellect that goes well beyond human scheduling. Your role is not to control traffic, but to maintain clear routes with unflinching trust. When you trust the process, you follow the natural flow of manifestation. Think of religion as an electric current. To bring your dreams to fruition, you must follow an uninterrupted route. Doubt generates resistance, whereas faith allows energy to flow freely. Your conviction becomes a conduit through which global energies flow, changing potential into reality. The knowledge of centuries whispers, what you seek is also seeking you. In great orchestration, time is your ally rather than an enemy. Eliminate the need to force, push, or strain. Instead, cultivate the peaceful conviction that everything is in divine order, the ancient practice of trust. Find a peaceful place and relax in the silence. Close your eyes and become aware of your chest, where universal energy naturally converges. Visualize a golden river of light flowing from your heart center. Feel this radiant stream flowing outward, extending to the distant horizon in all directions. As this golden current passes through you, imagine it bringing your goals and dreams with it. See how easily it propels your dreams into reality. There is no tension or force, just a continuous trickle of trust linking you to unlimited possibilities. Allow this golden light to become the tangible manifestation of your faith. Feel how it melts resistance and clears the way for wonders. Your trust acts as a perfect conductor, allowing global time to work its magic through you. This current flows eternally, whether you notice it or not, and you can align with it consciously. You step into the stream of divine timing, where everything happens in perfect order. Chapter 7. The Art of Vibrational Focus. In a small community nestled among ancient hills, a woman was known for her exquisite garden, while others suffer with weeds and dying plants. Her flowers grew with incredible intensity. When prompted to reveal her secret, she would smile and add, "I only see the blossoms, not the thorns." The cosmos responds precisely to the focus of your attention. It, like a skilled artist, paints the canvas of your life with the colors you notice the most. Elsie Lynn's experience demonstrated this reality, as her fragmented attention resulted in a garden of worry rather than contentment. Elsie Lynn would wake up every morning and quickly split her focus between numerous worries. Her health, her finances, and her relationships, like seeds placed in rich soil. Each issue she nurtured with her care blossomed into a formidable presence in her life. The more she split her attention among these problems, the faster they increased, until her days became a continual ballet of competing fears. However, the universe, with its infinite wisdom, provides constant opportunities for course correction. When Elsie realized the value of focused attention, she began directing her attention to the beauty around her. With each purposeful adjustment, the disparity between what she feared and desired faded, giving way to an increasing harmony in her experience. This similar principle was uncovered by Warren Boyd, who found the transformational power of concentrated attention, rather than dividing his concentration among multiple concerns. He chose to focus his full mind on peace. He maintained an unshakable focus. The pandemonium that had previously consumed his life began to subside, like shadows vanishing in the dawn light. These stories combine to show a fundamental reality. Energy moves where focus goes. Your focus operates as a lens, concentrating universal energy. When you disperse this viewpoint across multiple topics, you dilute its effectiveness. However, when you direct it precisely toward your desired experience, reality begins to rearrange itself accordingly. Consider your focus to be like a ray of sunlight. When diffused, it softly warms a large area, but when focused using a magnifying glass, it has enough strength to ignite whatever it touches. Similarly, your concentrated awareness has the ability to change any part of your experience. An ancient practice, a single flower. Select one stunning photograph that brings you delight, perhaps a flower, a sunset, or a serene scene throughout the day. Return to this image several times, each time adding emotional depth to your visualization. Feel the beauty, perfection, and harmony. Allow this image to become your friend, a point of emphasis in the midst of daily tasks with each visit. Allow your emotional connection to grow until the outside world begins to reflect the beauty you've been holding in your mind. This technique uses focused concentration to bring your inner and outside worlds into harmony. Chapter 8. The Honest Frequency. Hattie Knox smiled cheerfully with everyone she encountered. She spoke of dreams and possibilities, but beneath her cheerful words hummed a dissonant frequency of quiet despair and resignation. Despite her repeated affirmations, her inner world remained unchanged. The universe, you see, responds not to our words, but to the energy we emit. Your vibrational signature cannot be falsified. Like how water finds its own level, your true emotional state will always determine what happens in your experience. When you try to impose artificial optimism on unacknowledged pain, you create internal conflict rather than harmony. The law recognizes no trickery. It simply mirrors the dominant frequency you possess. Consider the wisdom gained from Glenn Ray's journey. After years of forced positivity that had produced no results, he finally allowed himself to sit quietly with his sadness. During that moment of raw honesty, something changed when he accepted his authentic self without judgment. He discovered that emotions do not need to be overcome, but rather acknowledged within weeks. His circumstances began to change, not through effort, but through alignment. This reflects an ancient truth. The universe does not require you to be happy about everything. It simply asks for your honesty. When you honor your current vibration, you remove the resistance that prevents natural harmony from entering your life. Consider emotions as messengers rather than obstacles. Each feeling provides important information about your interaction with life's energy. The law functions with absolute precision, responding to what is not what you claim. Your goal is not be happy all the time, but to cultivate real presence in the face of any challenge. This creates the condition for genuine transformation. Forced cheer is like painting over rusted metal. The surface may sparkle briefly, but the underlying situation is unaltered. True alchemy begins with accepting what is. Only then can your energy field become clear and align with your desired outcome. The ancients practiced honesty meditation. Find a quiet moment and take a deep breath. Allow yourself to experience whatever is present without attempting to alter it. Breathe in appreciation for each experience that comes, whether it be joy, grief, calm, or wrath. Notice how this simple acceptance automatically shifts your vibe. This exercise brings buried frequencies to the surface and releases them, providing the clarity that creation naturally respects. Chapter 9. The Choice That Shapes Clouds. Yoon, a potter from a distant mountain community, created clay pots. Each morning, he faced two paths to obtain his resources, one of which led to a riverbed rich in fine clay. The other went to a rocky quarry where minerals glistened but the clay was gritty. Day after day, Yoon selected the more difficult route to the quarry, convinced that fate had dictated his trials. His pot was sunken rough and frequently shattered during burning. He followed an inner whisper one morning and went the river path instead. The clay there responded well to his hands, and his sculptures began to express a newfound grace. In that moment, he realized it was not destiny that had shaped his experience, but rather the simple decision of which road to take. The universe functions as a limitless field of possibilities, constantly molded by your decisions. Each decision causes ripples in the quantum fabric of reality, directing the field on how to arrange itself around you. This fact is revealed in the narrative of Melba Crane, who formerly saw her life as a series of preset occurrences beyond her control. She blamed destiny for every failure, missed opportunity, and period of scarcity. However, as she began to see the obvious link between her decisions and the experiences that followed, she came to a profound revelation. The weather in her life, both storms and sunlight, corresponded closely with the seeds she had planted via her everyday decisions. What looked to be destiny was actually the result of many decisions taken moment by moment. For grown-ups, Journey exposes this principle from a different perspective. He made a deliberate decision to choose compassion in every interaction, no matter how minor, while others might have responded with frustration. When faced with frustration, he chose understanding. He chose kindness instead. His world slowly changed. Beneficial coincidences began to happen with greater frequency, like flowers blooming in an afternoon garden. Everyone seemed to go out of their way to help him. Opportunities arrived unexpectedly, and even difficult circumstances resolved themselves with surprising ease. These events reveal a fundamental fact. What appears to be random chance or predestined fate is actually the exact echo of your decisions, vibrating throughout the field of all possibilities. Each decision you make modifies the universe's quantum memory, laying the groundwork for subsequent experiences. The power of choice goes beyond mere action. It includes your thoughts, emotions, and the level of energy you bring to each situation. Every choice, no matter how little, carries creative potential. When you select worry, you direct the field to generate further causes of concern. When you choose peace, you instruct reality to mirror the same harmony back to you. Before taking any action today, the ancients practiced choosing alignment. Pause and ask yourself with calm attention, is this consistent with peace and expansion? Allow the question to settle in your heart, not in your mind. Pay attention to any sensations that arise. One choice will feel heavy, while the other will appear lighter. This slight difference represents the cosmos directing you through emotion. Follow the lighter experience, since it leads a harmony with the larger flow of life. This practice, passed down through generations of wisdom keepers, connects you to the creative potential that exists in every choice. Chapter 10. The Compass of Gratitude. Long ago, a modest woodcutter lived at the edge of an ancient woodland. Every morning, he would grab his equipment and head into the woods. The trees were twisted, the route difficult, and his job seemed never-ending. Then one day, he discovered an antique medallion etched with mysterious symbols. The wise woman from his village explained that it was a compass of appreciation. Its needle traveled toward the holder, filled with real gratitude. As he practiced with this weird instrument, the woodcutter observed something remarkable. The force itself appeared to shift, not through physical change, but through the lens of his grateful attention. The trees he had earlier regarded as impediments now appeared as noble guardians providing gifts. The rough route became an adventure. His work shifted from a burden to a blessing. Like the woodcutter, you have an inner compass that responds to gratitude. This reality was revealed through Ida Shaw's extraordinary discovery. Her external conditions remained unaltered. She began to consciously increase her appreciation for what was already present in her life. With each thankful thought, her perspective shifted, and her familiar surroundings seemed in a new light. The same house, the same work, the same relationships, all transformed by the simple but powerful act of thankful recognition. Patrick Bell's experience reinforces this notion by purposefully limiting his criticisms while increasing his expressions of thankfulness. He saw an immediate shift in his everyday flow problems, which used to frustrate him, began to resolve themselves with hitherto unknown ease. Opportunities occurred precisely when they were needed. The universe appeared to direct him down smoother paths, all for the honed instrument of appreciation. This navigation system works with pinpoint accuracy because appreciation automatically connects your energy with the frequency of riches. When you express gratitude for what you have today, you prepare yourself to receive more experiences worthy of admiration. The compass of the cosmos always points to what you bless with true gratitude. Consider appreciation as a lens through which reality modifies itself via complaint. Gratitude transforms wealth into poverty. Even ordinary moments reveal hidden brilliance. This is not just positive thinking. It represents the activation of an ancient law that guides the flow of life itself. Your thinking patterns leave trails to the field of endless potential. When these ideas hold the energy of appreciation, they inevitably lead to experiences that deserve even more thankfulness. This produces an upward loop of expanding good, with each grateful recognition drawing more reasons to be thankful. Practice. Take a time to reflect on experiences that are deserving of gratitude. Mention. Allow your admiration to flow naturally toward these recollections, feeling how each one illuminates your consciousness. Observe how the simple deed begins to alter your inner compass. The thankfulness guidance system never fails to gently steer your life toward increasingly joyful horizons. It only awaits conscious activation. Part 2. Human Partnership with Infinity. Chapter 11. The Silence That Demands. In the ancient highlands of faraway land, a master sculptor worked with exquisite marble as other artists attacked their stone with fervor. When asked about his methodology, he would sit calmly in front of each block for several days. He just smiled and waited. Then, with movements that seemed to flow from the quiet itself, he revealed figures so beautiful that they appeared to have emerged naturally from the stone. The universe functions on the same premise of effortless power. When you stop doing and enter the domain of being, creation answers with absolute accuracy. This reality reveals itself in numerous ways over time and place, teaching us that true power rests not in force, but in the ability to be still. Lola Frost learned this wisdom after she quit resisting life's currents. For years, she had embraced every assignment with zeal, certain that success needed persistent trying. Each accomplishment drained her until she saw how nature performs its greatest feats without exertion. The enormous oak develops in silence. Rivers created canyons with patient persistence. Clouds reshaped continents silently. As Lola lessened her effort and accepted silence, she watched in awe as things resolved themselves with unexpected ease. Projects that once required endless hours of effort began to flow smoothly. Relationships that had been complicated by too many words found natural harmony in shared silence. She recognized that stillness moves mountains unnoticed, but force only exhausts the mover. Julian Cobb extended this theory to the corporate sector, where disorder is commonplace. Before each meeting, he would arrive early to sit in total silence as others raced in with agendas and nervousness. He remained focused in quiet awareness, as if by magic. These meetings were always well-timed and clear. Solutions emerged organically. Conflicts were resolved without difficulty, and decisions lined naturally with the best good for everybody. The message gets clearer. Stillness is the most powerful authority. When you stop doing everything and just be, you draw into the universe's limitless organizing force. Just as the surface of a lake must remain still in order to properly reflect the sky, your mind must discover silence in order to reflect universal intelligence. Clearly, the ancient technique of silence. Pause. Allow your breath to slow naturally, like soft waves on a distant coast. Feel the space around and within you, between your thoughts. Observe how your bodily stillness begins to influence the entire range of experience. Allow your calm body to serve as a teaching tool for the universe, a lecture on perfect balance and harmony. Remain here, allowing tranquility to spread until you feel a slight shift as creation aligns with your peace. The power of quiet now moves mountains for you. Chapter 12 is on the field of allowance. The art of silence manifests itself in life's most mundane moments. In the silent spaces between thoughts, the universe whispers its most profound secrets. When you let go of the grip of perpetual motion, you reconnect with a natural flow that governs all creation. Consider the wisdom contained in the story of Grace Penn, who learned this timeless truth on her own journey. Every morning, she rushed through her responsibilities, demanding results and depleting herself in the process. But the harder she tried, the more life appeared to fight her efforts. Then one day, she saw a leaf floating smoothly down a stream and understood. She started to submit. Her hurried pace, allowing things to happen in their own time. As she let go of her control over every aspect, surprising transformations occurred. Opportunities arrived just when they were required. Connections strengthened spontaneously, and solutions emerged without much effort. This principle applies well beyond individual experience. It is integrated into the fundamental fabric of life. The universe follows a flawless order that requires no force, just alignment. Your path unfolds gracefully, just as a flower blooms without straining or a river fights to reach the ocean. When you stop resisting. Howard Peel's experience mirrors this truth. His effort to manage every element of his commercial activities resulted in unseen obstacles. The more he reacted to uncertainty, the more delays and barriers developed. Each setback fueled his resistance, and he found himself locked in a loop of battle. The cosmos merely mirrored his own anxiety back to him, teaching him through experience. That force reduces power. The law that governs all creation reacts to allowance rather than might. When you enter the silence between thoughts, you connect to the same power that transforms seeds into forests and stars into galaxies. The strength needs no effort. It flows naturally when you get out of its path. Ancient practice for connecting with the universal flow. Locate a comfortable position and close your eyes. Visualize yourself slowly floating above your current situation, as if suspended in a vast, serene area. Feel the tension melt away as you submit to an invisible tide of limitless wisdom. Trust that this current understands the best course for your ultimate good. Let go of the need to command or control the flow. Simply float, letting the river of life carry you smoothly to your destination. Use this visualization whenever you sense the impulse to force results or run ahead of divine timing. The more you relax into this exercise, the more naturally life's currents will direct you. Chapter 13. The Geometry of Confidence. In ancient times, knowledgeable people knew that the body acts as a living antenna, revealing your innermost state to the universe. Every attitude and gesture conveys meaning. The world immediately comprehends. Annie Ford found this eternal concept while shopping in a busy market. For many years, she carried herself with her shoulders bent inward and her head slightly bowed, a physical representation of her inner uncertainty. But one transforming morning, she remembered her grandmother's instructions. Stand as if you are carrying light within. Annie's experience changed dramatically when she straightened her spine. Her modified posture constituted a declaration to the universe, which responded in kind. Opportunities that appeared far suddenly appeared, as if they had been waiting for this faint signal all along. The physical appearance is the first messenger of your intentions. When you change your body's alignment, you modify the frequency you send into the cosmic field. This principle was plainly evident in the life of Miles, P.A., whose great mind was frequently overshadowed by behavior. His powers were great. His slouched posture told a different narrative to the world as he went about his days with downcast eyes and rounded shoulders. The universe reflected that this energy opportunity had passed him by. Doors remained closed, and his path seemed to go uphill indefinitely. Your body's position in space is not just physical. It is an expression of energetic intent. When you stand in alignment, you indicate that you are ready to receive. When you straighten your spine, you align with the vertical current of limitless possibilities. The cosmos responds not only to your words, but to the entirety of your being. This wisdom emphasizes that revolution does not have to begin with great gestures. Simply altering your posture can set off a chain reaction of positive change throughout your entire field of experience. Your bodily form becomes a live prayer, an embodied assertion of your right to experience the ancient practice of embodied alignment. Find a quiet place where you can stand alone. Plant your feet firmly on the ground and feel the solid earth beneath you. Gently raise your chest, allowing your heart to open to the sky. Allow your attention to rest gently upward, as if receiving light from above. Feel the flow of certainty from the ground through your entire existence, as if the universe is expanding within your stance. Hold the stance for a few breaths, understanding that your own being is a conduit for cosmic abundance. Allow this stance to become your natural way of moving in the world, a physical reminder of your connection to unlimited possibilities. Before we move on to the next chapter, you may obtain a free ebook edition of this audiobook by clicking the link in the pinned comment below. Watch this video. Chapter 14, The Pulse of Imagination. In the calm gardens of an ancient monastery, a wise monk once revealed the mystery of creation to his pupil. He muttered, "What you see with your inner eye, the universe moves mountains in order to manifest." Lillian Ross grasped the sacred truth. Each morning, before the world awoke, she would sit in complete silence, allowing pictures of her chosen reality to paint themselves across the canvas of her mind. She didn't stretch or force the images. Instead, she allowed them to flow organically like breath. Within weeks, the cosmos began to orchestrate events that matched her calm visualizations. The power of imagination goes well beyond daydreaming. It acts as the architect's blueprint, from which the universe creates reality. Every thought and mental picture contains a seed of actual manifestation. When you close your eyes and visualize with absolute clarity, you engage in the earliest form of creativity. And Cook once referred to such behaviors as silly fantasy. His rational intellect rejected whatever it couldn't immediately grasp. However, something within him yearns for a deeper understanding. When circumstances prompted him to experiment with conscious visualization, he observed that time appeared to bend around his focused mind. Opportunities occurred as if summoned, and routes were cleared for him with magical accuracy. The cosmos makes no distinction between what you vividly conceive and what you actually experience. Both have equal creative force. This is why masters throughout history have taught their students to protect their mental images as carefully as they would treasure diamonds. Each image and awareness serves as a blueprint for material expression. Your imagination is a chisel with which you shape your future from a marble of limitless possibility. When you learn to control it with purpose, you take on the role of conscious creator. The power has always been within you, waiting to be recognized and used. Practice archaic manifestation. Ritual. Find a peaceful place where you won't be bothered. Close your eyes and imagine one simple joy you want to experience. It could be as simple as a nice smile from a stranger or as precise as a particular accomplishment. See it so clearly that it seems more real than the present time. Allow your breath to flow freely as you focus on this vision, allowing each inhale to reinforce its existence in your mind. Continue until you feel a subtle shift when possibility becomes inevitable. This emotion indicates that the blueprint has been received by the cosmic intellect. Open your eyes, knowing that the wheels of creation have been set into motion. Chapter 15, The Power of Words. Long ago, a trader transported valuable silks between faraway settlements. At each stop, he discovered an unusual trend. The way he described his travels seems to determine the response he received in towns where he complained about tough roads. He discovered unfriendly faces and barred doors. However, when he sang praises to the nice breeze and magnificent landscapes, doors swung wide and hearts opened readily. The power of your words alters the very fabric of existence. Each syllable you say sends ripples through the quantum field, telling reality how to arrange itself. This is not just poetry. It is the basic mechanism of creation. Dora Lane learned this reality while living. It happens day after day. She had unwittingly built a web of complaints about her neighborhood, including the loudness, untended plants, unfriendly faces, and a mirror. Her surroundings echoed every syllable of conflict. But when she started consciously changing her terminology, speaking of possibilities rather than difficulties, something amazing happened. The same neighbors who appeared cold began to warm. Gardens began flowering. The atmosphere itself seemed to lighten. The cosmos does not classify your words as good or bad. It just increases the vibratory quality they emit. Every word you make is a command to the field of limitless possibilities. This field makes no distinction between criticism and praise. It simply echoes the energy you project. Ned Fry's experience confirms this ancient truth. His household had been tense, with sharp words flying like arrows. However, when he actively began expressing words of kindness, regardless of the circumstances, the air in his home appeared to alter. Arguments that had previously erupted on a daily basis simply stopped manifesting. The field had received and multiplied his latest instructions. Your tongue is a wand of creativity. Each word has a distinct frequency that spreads outward, affecting everything in its path. When you comprehend this, you realize how much responsibility and power you have in every discussion and word. Practice. Find a quiet area where you may be alone. Begin murmuring words of soft blessing to yourself, then to your surrounds, and lastly to the situations that bother you. Observe how the atmosphere reacts to your gentle, loving declarations. Continue until you can feel the air vibrating in sync with your good thoughts. This is not imagination. You are actively reprogramming the realm of creation with the power of conscious speech. Chapter 16. The Bridge of Self-Regard. Your words possess an ancient power that modern minds have lost, but sages have recognized from time immemorial. They are more than just noises in the air. They are energetic blueprints that the universe faithfully adheres to. When you speak about yourself, you're issuing a command to the cosmic powers. When you downplay your worth, even in jest, you unintentionally lower the ceiling of what you can achieve in your life. This fact was disclosed by Flora Dean, who spoke of herself with subtle deprecation. She would say, "I'm not good enough for that." Alternatively, such things do not happen to folks like myself. With each remark, she created an unseen barrier between herself and her desires. The universe, as the ideal mirror, could only reflect the restrictions she stated. However, the law works equally in favor of abundance. Victor Kane recognized this principle intuitively. His surroundings were humble. He spoke with unshakable dignity. He never boasted, but instead spoke with quiet confidence about his innate worth. "I welcome good fortune," he would add, or "I am deserving of success." Opportunities slowly began to materialize. A serendipitous contact with a renowned mentor and an unexpected offer to present his ideas. Doors opened that he had no idea existed. These opposing narratives highlight a basic fact. Your relationship with yourself establishes the foundation for your relationship with the limitless self. Honor isn't vanity. It is alignment with your ultimate self. The world cannot override your own opinion of oneself. It must, by law, adjust its replies to match the frequency of your self-talk. Consider your words like seeds planted in rich soil. Each time you talk respectfully of yourself, you plant an oak of possibility. Each self-deprecating word creates thorns in your way. The option of what to cultivate is always yours. An ancient practice. Find a quiet area where you may be alone. Close your eyes and put your hand over your heart in a scarcely audible voice. Speak the words I am permitted to receive. Feel how your heartbeat reacts. It's the drum of divine concord, the rhythm of the universe. Confirming your worthiness. Allow this truth to sink into your bones. Chapter 17. Harmony's Feedback. In the quiet corners of an ancient village, a woman discovered one of the universe's most subtle mysteries. Through seemingly simple circumstances, a deep truth arose, transforming our view of how cosmic forces operate in everyday life. Edith Hale, who lived high in the mountains, discovered an unusual pattern in her household. Every time voices were raised in discord, the appliances would mysteriously falter. The washing machine would stop spinning during heated talks. Sharp words sliced through the air, causing light bulbs to flicker and fade. She initially discounted these occurrences as coincidences. Nonetheless, the correlation proved too constant to ignore. The universe works through a sophisticated system of vibrations that manifests interior states in the physical world with mathematical precision. Your emotional frequency has an impact not only on relationships and possibilities, but also on the overall functioning of life. The atoms that make up all matter respond to the delicate energy you release. Destiny's mechanisms, like the delicate gears of a clock, require precise calibration. When you keep internal balance, the external environment aligns with smooth efficiency. Nevertheless, enter extreme frequencies of conflict, and the entire mechanism begins to strain. Ralph Snow's experience supports this principle. Everything in his home seemed to be malfunctioning, from blocked doors to temperamental electronics. Learning about vibrations' effects on matter, he decided to practice speaking with soft intention. He adjusted his tone to reflect the soothing hum of nature, not the dissonant notes of frustration. Within days, the transformation was astounding. Appliances that had been problematic began to function flawlessly. The continually squeaking hinges fell silent. Even his old car, which had previously proven difficult to start, started easily every morning. The mechanism of his life adjusted to the new frequency. He maintained, according to this ancient belief, emotional vibrations have a greater impact on material reality than physical involvement. When you align your inner state, you instantly tailor the cosmic mechanics to work in your advantage. Peace is not just a condition of mind. It is a force that adjusts the gears of existence. As you lay down each night, release the tensions that have built up over the day. Imagine every point of friction in your life, each blocked circumstance, every mechanical obstacle, every resistance, being showered in gold light. Feel peace pour like oil through all of the cogs and processes that comprise your existence. Allow your breathing to become calm and easy, knowing that as you restore inner harmony, the outer world will follow suit. This nightly practice of forgiveness and recalibration allows the cosmos to tweak its equipment while you sleep, ensures smoother operation with each sunrise. Chapter 18, The Return of Thought. At the heart of existence is an elegant principle. Your relationship with the outside reflects your internal balance. This truth is revealed through numerous lives, instructing those who pause long enough to hear its quiet whispers. In a busy market plaza, Agatha Reeves spent her morning telling stories about her neighbors' tragedies, effortlessly blending supposition and reality. However, each story she shared returned to her doorstep, twisted misunderstandings about her own affairs, and increased until she couldn't leave her house without running into someone who had heard false rumors about her life. The world, in its infinite wisdom, was displaying a perfect reflection of her own thoughts and words. Martin lived nearby and discovered an alternative approach to this cosmic law. Every morning, on his way to work, he would discreetly bless every stranger. He wished the elderly woman at the bus stop good health, bringing joy to the harried businessman. A prayer of peace for the frightened mother and her children. He never said these blessings aloud, but he soon found himself surrounded by unexpected kindnesses. A neighbor would clear his walkway following a snowfall. A stranger would hold a door while his arms were full. The universe was authentically reflecting his silent friendliness. These comparable stories demonstrate the exquisite mechanism of universal law. Every idea and emotion you express becomes a messenger that must return to its origin. like a boomerang hurled into the cosmic winds. Your mental and emotional energy generates patterns that repeat with mathematical precision. This is neither punishment nor reward, but rather the physics of awareness at work. When you talk about others, you're programming the universe's reaction to your own situation. When you judge, you are calibrating the lens through which you will be perceived. When you bless, you send forth waves of compassion that must eventually return to you. This is why masters of the past taught the technique of conscious speaking and cautious thought. They realized that each mental emission serves as a pattern for future experiences. The universe serves as a flawless mirror, reflecting not only your words and acts, but the very core of your thinking. It responds not to what you say you believe, but to the frequency you emit. This is why genuine kindness yields more dependable results than deliberate manipulation. The universe understands energy, not intention. Sacred practice. As you go about your day, pause to offer a genuine, silent compliment to the first person you see. Feel the warmth of that blessing leaving your heart. Then observe with quiet awareness as its echo returns to you in unexpected ways. The universe always responds to genuine vibrations of harmony. Chapter 19. The Rhythm of Patience. The ancient texts state that the universe runs with perfect accuracy, with each moment unfolding in accordance with divine equations that regulate all creation. You're about to learn why timing is so important in manifestation, as well as how patience may turn from a burden to a blessing. Long ago, there was a woman named Lena Cross who wanted desperately for change in her circumstances. Every morning, she would rise and seek proof of the universe's responsiveness to her wishes. "Show me now," she would beseech, continually looking for signs that her aspirations were being fulfilled. However, with each demanding glance, she unintentionally created resistance in the exact flow she wished to accelerate. The universe, with its infinite wisdom, could not be forced to unveil what must naturally occur by divine sequence. You've probably had comparable moments of impatience during your own trip. However, beneath this universal dance lies a profound truth that defies time. Natural rhythm is suspended in wait, whereas divine timing accelerates with grace. Consider the story of Clyde Wynne, who found this idea by straightforward observation, instead than battle in the flow of time. He learned to trust the order of events as they unfolded. What appeared to be delays turned out to be perfectly timed stepping stones, each one necessary for his path. His trust of divine time transformed waiting into insight, and he soon saw how seemingly insignificant delays veiled vast currents of movement beneath the surface. The universe runs with mathematical precision. Similarly, a flower cannot be compelled to bloom before its season. Your aspirations manifest according to a precise spiritual science. Patience is not passive waiting. Rather, it is active. Believe in this divine arithmetic. When you align with this reality, you enter the flow of natural timing, in which everything happens with graceful efficiency. The spiritual practice is to find a peaceful place where you can sit undisturbed whenever impatience begins to murmur urgent demands. Consciously transform that energy. Say these remarks with soft authority. Everything is right for my joy. Now, continue to breathe gently and steadily, allowing each breath to strengthen your belief in divine timing. This technique helps to reconnect your energy with the natural flow of manifestation. Chapter 20. The Seed of Vision. A tremendous truth is whispered through the ages. Patience is not passive, waiting but active. Trust in the flawless unfolding of divine timing across countless generations. Those who learn this understanding discover themselves dancing in sync with the universe's innate rhythms. In a valley blessed with morning mist, may you read and understand this fundamental principle every day. She approached her aims with the same cautious care. A master gardener displays their most treasured seedlings. She never questioned fertility of the soil or the speed with which the seedlings grew. Instead, She kept unflinching faith, nurturing her visions with gratitude and trust. As the seasons changed, her hopes became a reality, with the earth branching out in ways she could not have anticipated. Gerald Quinn, on the other hand, tossed his dreams around like seeds in the wind, never allowing a single idea to germinate. His ambitions shifted with each emotion, resulting in a state of confusion in which nothing could fully mature the cosmos. Ever true to our directions, he could only reflect back this fragmented energy. The law remains constant. What you cultivate with patient attention gets stronger. When you clearly establish your objective and tend to it with steadfast devotion, before the first shoot develops, unseen forces begin to work, much like a garden sprouting beneath the earth. Your desires are already in motion before actual evidence appears. When you embrace this fact, your relationship with time shifts. You are no longer an impatient watcher, but rather a wise planner of dreams who understands that each instant of waiting has its own precise purpose. The cosmos moves with incredible precision, coordinating many factors to bring your idea to life. An ancient practice. Find a peaceful moment while the sun rises or sets. Select one clear intention. Keep it basic, pure, and near to your heart. Close your eyes and imagine it as a seed already planted in rich soil. Every morning and evening, visit this precious seed in your imagination. Touch it with soft affection, knowing that it gets stronger with each blessing you give. Never dig it up to track its progress. Simply trust in the ideal unfolding. Allow your patient to love. Provide the water and light it requires to thrive. Part 3. Living the Power. Consciously. Chapter 21. The Circle of Reciprocity. In a lively historic bazaar, Julie Pratt, a merchant, uncovered one of the universe's most elegant mysteries. While others gripped their fortunes closely, she generously provided support to those in need. With each altruistic gesture, she noticed a strange occurrence. Her charity paid off threefold, often in surprising ways. The more she gave without expectation, the more plenty entered her life via unknown avenues. The universe is made up of energy circuits that are constantly seeking completion. When you spread goodness in the world, you activate an ancient principle that governs all of creation. To remain vital, energy must flow, just as a stream becomes sluggish when impeded. Wealth, in all its material, spiritual, and emotional manifestations, requires circulation to sustain its power. Lyle Grant discovered this fact through its shadowy aspect. Living in fear of loss, he suppressed his abilities and resources, believing that conservation would provide security. However, the tighter he held what he had, the more life appeared to constrict around him. His refusal to share generated an energetic barrier, and he quickly found himself encased in a sphere of isolation, cut off from the very riches he wished to safeguard. The law remains constant. Giving activates receiving, not through coerced reciprocity or deliberate trade, but as a natural response to an interrelated universe. When you freely give kindness, support, or resources, you become an active participant in creation's never-ending cycle of giving and receiving. This principle applies beyond material exchanges. A genuine smile given to a stranger, a moment to listen deeply, a helping hand provided without a motive. These seemingly modest deeds cause ripples in the fabric of reality. These ripples return, changed and multiplied in ways you never expected. Consider your charity to be golden light discharged into the vast cosmic ocean. It cannot help but return, because energy cannot be created or destroyed. It can only alter shape. The universe maintains perfect accounting not through debt and credit ledgers, but rather through the fundamental law of energy equilibrium, an ancient practice. Find one opportunity today to express kindness anonymously. Let it be something little yet real. Perhaps leave flowers on a stranger's doorway, pay for their coffee, or leave an encouraging message where it might be found. As you perform this action, Visualize it as golden light streaming from your heart into the world. Then imagine this light spreading out in expanding rings, touching innumerable lives before returning to you, luminous and multipled. Do not attempt to monitor or verify its return. Simply trust in the natural flow of universal energy. Chapter 22. The Light of Forgiveness. The truth pervades every interaction in your life. What you withhold causes stagnation. What you release multiplies in motion. This insight has guided people who have grasped the sacred art of circulation throughout the centuries. You've come across this principle innumerable times, possibly without realizing its profound simplicity. Consider Vera Lane, whose heart was burdened from accumulated frustrations. Each perceived slight and injury she harbored became a barrier, impeding the natural flow of abundance. Her resentments, as legitimate as they appeared, serve as barriers in the cosmic circuit. However, when she opted to release these responsibilities via forgiveness, the universe's reaction was fast and ambiguous. Opportunities and joy began to flow through channels that had been inactive for a long time, like a river that had finally been cleared of debris. The power of forgiveness goes beyond pardoning others. It entails making peace with oneself. Edwin Cole found this when his previous mistakes become chains that bound his current potential. Each time he tried to succeed, his own self-judgment held him back. Only once he offered himself the gift of forgiveness did the cosmic river resume its natural course. His self-acceptance paved the route for outward acceptance, and success came with surprising ease. This uncovers a fundamental truth. Forgiveness is not just a moral attribute. It's an effective instrument for cleaning the channels through which universal energy travels. When you carry hatred, you cause interference in the subtle frequencies that govern synchronicity. Your grudges grow stagnant in the space between your intentions and their realization. The cosmos responds to the purity of your energy field, not just your words or actions. Forgiveness serves as a purifying force, removing the residue of past wounds and disappointments. As you remove these old energies, you make room for new possibilities in the ancient process of energy cleaning. Locate a peaceful spot where you will not be disturbed. Close your eyes and take deep breaths. Consider each grievance you bear as dark ink in the clean water of your mind. Observe how each anger and old hurt begins to fade and dissipate. Notice the black clouds of past suffering, gradually disappearing, until only crystalline clarity remains. Feel the lightness that comes with releasing these responsibilities. In this open condition, notice how readily your intentions flow, unhindered by the debris of past traumas. Allow this clarity to become your natural state, inviting the universe to respond with precise precision. Chapter 23. The Discipline of Joy. In the markets of an ancient city, there lived a merchant who spent his days counting pennies rather than enjoying the moment. Every morning, he passed a young girl who danced freely in the square. Her actions conveyed utter delight. He initially mocked her frivolity, but one day he noticed how her joy drew not just smiles, but also fortune. Passers-by gladly filled her tiny basket with presents and money. The universe communicates in the language of vibration, and nothing resonates more strongly than genuine delight. When you postpone happiness, believing it must wait for certain conditions, you direct the cosmic powers to keep you in that state of waiting. However, when you choose joy in the present moment, you cause an immediate shift in the fabric of creation. Pearl Cook recognized this timeless reality rather than postponing her enjoyment for some future accomplishment. She incorporated humor into the fabric of every day. She realized that joy is not a prize for accomplishment, but rather its foundation. She cultivated daily moments of delight. Her creative powers expanded beyond their prior bounds. The cosmos detected her raised frequency and responded by creating circumstances that matched her vibration. In contrast, Howard Bell believed that enjoyment could only be acquired through struggle. His attitude of "I'll be happy" when became a self-fulfilling prophecy, pushing joy forever into an unattainable future. The cosmic law's impartiality just mirrored his decision to postpone happiness, creating an eternal circle of waiting. This wisdom has echoed throughout the ages. Joy prepares the mind to expect expansion. When you base your discipline on happiness rather than rigorous control, you are in harmony with the universe's inherent order. Your laughter becomes a confession of faith in life's goodness, and the universe cannot not but reply in like. Ancient practice takes place in a quiet environment where you feel free. Allow your body to move freely. For 30s, dance it with the pure delight of being alive. Give up any concern about look or rhythm. This is between you and the limitless as you go. Feel how this bodily display of happiness leaves a mark on the cosmic memory. Teach your cells a frequency of freedom. This simple exercise, passed down through generations of knowledge keepers, acts as a reset for your vibrational signature. Chapter 24, The Shadow of Desire. Along a mountain trail, a wise woman came across two flowers growing side by side. One blossom turned away from the sun, preoccupied in watching its neighbor's petals unfold. In its focus on comparison, it failed to see its own special beauty. Withering in the shade of jealousy, the universe runs on an unlimited spectrum of expression. Every manifestation is unique and exquisite. When you compare your journey to another's, you put obstacles in the natural flow of your own abundance. This resistance manifests as subtle shadows in your energetic field, obstructing the pure light of creation intended for your growth. Nettie Moss found the truth through her own enlightenment. Each achievement of others appeared to darken her own light, yet she disguised the sensation as motivation. The more she tried to match or exceed others' achievements, the more unattainable her own became. Her energy, rather than flowing toward manifestation, was scattered in numerous directions of comparison. This trend continues until you realize that the success of others represents the universe's limitless possibility for abundance. Every accomplishment you witness is a reflection of the limitless possibilities available to everyone. The objective is to transmute the energy of comparison into genuine celebration. Frank Dale reflected this understanding naturally. When he learned of other people's victories, his heart swelled with genuine joy. He recognized that prosperity flowing to one opens doors for all with each blessing he bestowed upon others. Achievements. His own road was clean of barriers. The universe, sensing no resistance in his realm, provided comparable richness in the cosmic dance of creation. When you bless another person's light, comparison simply weakens your own power. You strengthen your own. This is not simply philosophy, but a precise application of universal law. The energy you put into helping others succeed will be amplified, for there is no difference between your abundance and theirs. Sacred practice as you go about your day, noticing instances when others achieve success or delight. Pause and whisper softly, "There I am succeeding." Feel how this assertion dispels the idea of separation, replacing it with a profound sense of belonging. Allow this practice to transform every instant of comparison into an opportunity for collaborative celebration via an alchemical change. Watch as your own path begins to shine with greater possibilities. Chapter 25 focuses on attention control. Every morning, a potter in a distant village created vessels out of clay. Some days, his attention shifted to the flaws, tiny fractures, and uneven edges that appeared to proliferate under his gaze. Other days, he admired each piece's flawless shape, smoothness created by gentle hands. On these days, his work evolved from plain pottery to art that gained fans from other nations. The difference was not in his competence, but in his vision. The cosmos answers with unshakable accuracy to whatever catches your attention. This law functions with mathematical precision wherever you gaze. Energy flows and reality grows. Your focus, like that of a master gardener cultivating certain seeds, develops the elements of existence that will thrive in your life. Celia Brooks discovered this principle after an awakening that altered her material existence. Rather than focusing on the empty gaps in her life, she began actively seeking proof of abundance. Each morning, her eyes looked for evidence of abundance. The warmth of the sun, the fullness of her breath, and the comfort of shelter. As she shifted her perspective from scarcity to abundance, an unusual metamorphosis occurred. Her world began to expand to accommodate her new vision, amplifying the very blessings she chose to embrace. Sam Holt took a different path. His gaze stayed locked on the abyss. Opportunities that had not realized, relationships that had not bloomed, dreams remained unmet with each passing day. This emphasis dug deeper channels of absence in his experience. The cosmos, ever faithful to his law, amplified exactly what occupied his attention, resulting in an ever-increasing spiral of apparent shortage. This principle indicates the sculptor's state of consciousness. Your attention functions like a chisel, crafting reality from the limitless possibilities of existence. Each moment of focus chisels away at the stone of possibilities, revealing either the masterpiece of abundance or the hollow of scarcity. The choice of where to direct this tool is entirely up to you. The wisdom traditions refer to this as selective perception, the deliberate choice of which aspects of reality to highlight through attention, similar to how a photographer frames a scene. You have the ability to include and remove elements from your field of attention. This selecting process is not denial, but rather an intentional construction, an ancient practice. Pause in your current location. Let your gaze dwell on something beautiful, maybe a flower, a beam of light, or perhaps the sheer elegance of a well-made piece. Hold your sight fixed on this solitary point of beauty until you can feel thankfulness rising organically within your body. Allow this appreciation to grow, transforming your simple act of looking into a portal through which more riches flows. This method, passed down through generations of mystics, transforms ordinary perception into a conduit for manifest passion. Chapter 26. The Continuum of Presence. In the great ocean of time, only one moment contains actual creative power, the perpetual present. This precious truth is veiled from those who divide their attention between imagined futures and recalled pasts. Nonetheless, its basic knowledge transforms each breath into a portal of limitless possibilities. Ida Vaughn discovered this secret while washing dishes on an average evening. As warm water ran over her hands, she saw that the soap bubbles reflected light in rainbow patterns. Instead of rushing through the task, buried in thoughts of tomorrow, she allowed her awareness to be fully present in each sensation, the temperature of the water, the silky texture of the plates, and the delicate noises of cleaning, which were once routine tasks, became gateways into eternal presence. As she continued with this exercise, she realized how life changed. Opportunities appeared effortlessly. The timing fell into place smoothly, and even hurdles were met with unexpected grace. The cosmos talks in the language of the present, but few listen long enough to hear its whispered instruction. Peter had long typified this basic human inclination, continually projecting his mind into imagined futures. While his thoughts raced forward, imagining what would go wrong, life's little gifts went unrecognized. The morning sun on his desk, a friendly word from a stranger, the perfect timing for an accidental encounter. Each missed blessing signified an opportunity for creation that was wasted due to distraction. When you focus your mind on the present now, you get access to the timeless dimension where all possibilities exist simultaneously. This is not just philosophy, but practical cosmic law. The most direct expression of global intelligence occurs in the present moment. When mind and moment come together, the timeless power of creation pours unhindered through your experience. Presence serves as a lens, transforming the dispersed light of potential into a clear manifestation. This lens becomes stronger every time you restore your attention to the present moment. Every breath detected serves as a link between the finite and the infinite. The textures of everyday sensations, sounds, and motions act as hooks for consciousness to anchor itself in the creative now. Sacred practice. As you go about your everyday duties, take periodic breaks to talk silently to yourself. I'm here now. Let these phrases act as gentle reminders to bring your dispersed awareness back into the present moment. When given presence, even the most mundane chores take on a subtle meaning. Whether you're typing at your computer, making a meal, or walking to your car, allow each action to be a meditation in motion. This simple exercise transforms everyday moments into powerful portals, unveiling the spiritual nature concealed inside each breath. Chapter 27. The Frequency of Service. Long ago, in a village surrounded by hills, there lived a humble weaver named Millie Ray. Each morning, she would interrupt her work to assist elderly neighbors in carrying water from the well or to teach little children how to fix their clothing. Despite her limited resources, she generously gave of her time and abilities, relishing every opportunity to help others. As the seasons passed, surprising benefits began to come into her life, including large orders for her fabrics, unexpected gifts, and a growing sense of fulfillment that no amount of money could buy. When you contribute without expecting anything in return, you activate an old law of circulation. Each act of service creates ripples in the invisible fabric of creation, allowing abundance to flow back to you. This happens not because you deserve a reward, but because generosity aligns your energy with the natural flow of universal forces. Consider how Clark Boone, a trader in the same hamlet, clung to his resources and turned away when others requested his assistance, feeling that donating would diminish his supplies. However, the more he concealed, the more his wealth appeared to dwindle, until his warehouse was virtually empty. The universe had only increased his energy of restriction. The law guiding this dynamic responds not to the magnitude of your donation, but to the spirit that drives it. A tiny deed performed with true care has greater creative potential than large gestures made out of necessity. When you serve others with delight, you exhibit your belief in life's richness. This trust provides a cornerstone for future wealth. Consider yourself a channel through which universal energy flows, similar to a stream that remains fresh due to constant movement. Giving and receiving vitalizes your existence. Every time you extend yourself in service, you broaden this channel, allowing more good to flow both ways. Ancient wisdom practices. Sit quietly for a bit, then raise your hands, palms outward. Imagine pure golden light streaming from your heart, through your arms, and out your palms onto the world. Feel this energy bless everything it touches, including people, situations, and even the air around you. Feel the warm expansion in your chest as you freely offer this light. Allow this experience to remind you that by giving, you are opening yourself to accept the universe's endless riches. Chapter 28. The Return to Trust. The universe communicates via the language of service. When you provide true concern to others, you align with the natural flow of creation. Gladys Crane's life demonstrated this lesson plainly, as she spent her early years seeking constant validation from others. She would constantly review and verify her decisions, wanting constant confirmation before taking even the smallest move forward. However, one autumn morning, while assisting at a local shelter, Gladys observed how freely the volunteers gave themselves without regard for the outcome. Something inside of her shifted at that instant. She recognized that true strength comes not from grasping hard, but from opening her hands in service to others. As she learned to let go of her desire for certainty, she experienced deep ease in her life. Opportunities presented themselves naturally, and the reassurance she had always desperately sought came to her effortlessly. Harold West's trip reveals another side of this insight. As a trader who prided himself on having complete control over every detail, He had devised a complex system of safeguards and contingency keys. However, despite his painstaking planning, he was unable to achieve peace. His apparent mastery was only dread, dress, and logic. Harold's turning moment occurred when he saw birds soaring freely on invisible air currents. He noticed that they didn't battle the wind, but instead followed its flow. He gradually began to lose control of the situation, choosing to believe in the natural order of things. As his trust developed, he saw that timing possessed its own understanding. One significantly surpasses his cautious estimations. These stories convey a timeless truth. When you let go of the impulse to choreograph every detail of your life, you make room for even more orchestration. Service becomes a delight rather than a duty. This is not a strategy, but rather a natural expression of who you are. The cosmos reacts not to your efforts, but to your agreement with its giving nature. Practice before going to bed tonight. Find a quiet moment and take a deep breath. Release all mental plans into open space. I whisper, trusting the rhythm-sensing globe. Gentle adjustment. Allow each breath to carry away the weight of control, allowing global time to flow into your life with ease. Chapter 29. The Power of Appreciation. In the never-ending flow of existence, faith emerges as the most powerful ally on your journey of manifestation across the eons. This wisdom has whispered to those who are ready to listen. The universe responds not to desperate grasping, but to peaceful acceptance. Ada Quinn understood the sacred truth. Every morning, she would pause to appreciate the simple gifts that surrounded her. The gentle warmth of sunlight streaming through her window, the soothing aroma of fresh coffee, and her cat's soft purr. Rather than rushing through these moments in pursuit of bigger goals, she learned to shower them with genuine gratitude. She cultivated this practice. Her life started to overflow with unexpected blessings. Opportunities appeared as naturally as flowers blooming, and spring and abundance permeated every aspect of her existence. In contrast, Ross Lair went about his days focused solely on what he lacked. Despite being surrounded by numerous tiny mercies, he remained blind to their presence, ever seeking larger signs of life's worth. The universe, ever devoted to the energy supplied, indicated his oversight. He was still unable to find the plenty he needed, because he had not yet learned to see and appreciate its seeds in the current time. Here is one of global law's most potent mysteries. Appreciation serves as a magnet for greater good. When you take a moment to appreciate the beauty and blessings in what currently exists, you create a vibration that attracts more of the same. This is not a coincidence, but rather the action of cosmic law. Like attracts like, and gratitude creates abundance. The ancient masters were well aware of this truth. They recognized that the path to larger manifestation begins with acknowledging what is already present. Every instant of gratitude causes a ripple in the field of limitless possibility. I am drawn to you. Experience is something that matches your grateful heart. Sacred practice. Find a peaceful moment and relax in the silence. Begin to recognize the comforts and blessings in your immediate surroundings. Name them softly in your head. Your chair is supporting you, the air you breathe, the tranquility of this moment. Continue until you feel a natural smile emerge from within. In this exercise, you align with the frequency of receiving, allowing the universe to multiply your gratitude into infinite abundance. Chapter 30. The Endless Source Within. In the peaceful recesses of an ancient monastery, a master taught his disciples that obtaining water from other vessels will not keep a cup full. It must find the spring inside. This ancient knowledge reverberates down the ages, speaking to the eternal truth. You've just discovered that Eva Cobb, like many others, sought long-term fulfillment elsewhere. She collected accomplishments, relationships, and material luxuries, yet each delight proved fleeting after years of spiritual work. She realized a basic truth: the only lasting nutrition comes from the endless well within. When she learned to draw from this internal source, external situations lost their ability to disrupt her tranquility. Whether fortune smiled or scowled, she remained anchored in an unshakable calmness that emanated from her center. The universe functions on the basis of inner sustenance. Your exterior experience may fluctuate, just as the leaves of a tree change with the seasons while its roots stay constant in sustaining the land. Your link to the source remains continuous. This endless source of peace, prosperity, and strength is found not in some faraway place, but in the quiet sanctuary of your own self. Daniel Cross embodied the shared struggle against this fact. He devised sophisticated systems of external security, financial investment, peacekeeping preparations, and safety nets. However, calm eluded him until circumstances removed these momentary supports. Only then, compelled to go deep, did he discover the ever-flowing source of well-being that had always existed within him. His example demonstrates that looking outside of oneself for permanent security is like trying to grasp water. The harder you squeeze, the faster it slid away. The source you seek has never abandoned you. It pulses in every heartbeat and runs in every breath. When you align with this internal wellspring, the outside world spontaneously arranges itself to reflect your inner condition. External situations reflect, rather than supplant, your connection to the endless ancient practice. Find a quiet place to sit comfortably. Close your eyes and direct your attention to the center of your chest. Imagine a golden reservoir of infinite light that is always full and flowing. Feel this dazzling essence flow upward through your body, out through your crown and into the huge sky above. Know that the source of spiritual vitality is never depleted. It only needs your recognition to flow freely throughout your life. Maintain this visualization for a few minutes, allowing yourself to be nourished by the infinite source inside. Part 4 discusses the unlimited extension of power. Chapter 31. The Spark of Realization. Long ago, a traveling sage happened upon a man perusing sacred writings by lamplight. Even though the man could recite every word, his life remained the same. The sage simply grinned and turned off the lamp. In that moment of darkness, the man grasped the message. He'd just read about it. Transformation is fundamentally defined by the distinction between knowing and understanding. Rosedale had spent several years collecting spiritual teachings. Her intellect was a reservoir of ideas about global rules and cosmic truths. However, her situation stayed unchanged until she felt the electric charge of recognition pulse through her being. It wasn't a fresh concept that transformed everything. It was experiencing the living truth of what she had already known. Rosie's entire reality began to shift the day she realized her thoughts were commands to the universe rather than simply whispers. What had previously been academic knowledge has now become visceral. She knew in her bones that every thought held creative force. This was no longer information. It was an awakening of strength. Gilbert Finn's story exemplifies the passage from concept to consciousness. He had dutifully repeated affirmations and visualizations, viewing them as tasks to be completed rather than truths to embrace. Then, one regular morning, when the sun painted the sky, something inside him became silent. In that calm, he learned nothing new. He merely understood what had always existed. True knowledge combined with wonder. That union gave birth to deep understanding. These experiences highlight the significant distinction between gathering information and awakening to the truth. When recognition dawns, theory is transformed into a live force. The power does not come from acquiring more knowledge. It appears when you sense the fundamental simplicity of what you already know. An ancient practice. Close your eyes for a moment and whisper, "I understand." Allow peaceful certainty to permeate every cell. Feel like life is acknowledging you back. Chapter 32. The Flow of Dissociation. Within you lies a power bigger than any force of nature. The ability to shape reality through your relationship with desire. Yet this power operates through surrender, not control. like water, finding its natural course. Creation flows most freely when you loosen your grasp on how and when it must arrive. Cindy Brooks recognized this fact only after exhausting herself through frequent monitoring and seeking signs. Each morning she would wake with a knot of dread, estimating the distance between her existing reality and her intended outcome. Her manifestations felt caught in amber, visible yet untouchable. The more desperately she reached, the more they seemed to recede, like mirages in the desert. Then one day, while watching leaves dance in the wind, something within her finally softened. She realized that the leaves didn't strain to find their route. They simply allowed themselves to be carried in that moment. Cindy let go, not with resignation, but with trust. She stopped strangling her dreams with urgency and instead allowed them time to unfold in their own perfect timing. The difference was slight, yet significant. As soon as she surrendered her white-knuckle grip on outcomes, life began reacting with unexpected gifts. Opportunities emerged naturally, as though they had merely been waiting for space to enter. Oscar Ray uncovered this similar notion by a different way. Having observed innumerable seeds emerge in his garden, he recognized that growth followed its own sacred timeline. You cannot force a flower to bloom by pulling on its petals. Oscar applied this insight to his deepest ambitions, treating them like seedlings he had planted in fruitful soil. He trusted the universal rules as certainly as he trusted the seasons, while others might have paced and worried. Oscar retained a peaceful certainty. He recognized that just as every tide must return to shore, every honest desire carries within it the blueprint for its own fulfillment. His role was not to manage traffic, but to maintain the necessary conditions for growth through his persistent faith. These stories reveal a timeless reality. Detachment is not indifference. It is tremendous confidence in the flawless unfolding of divine timing. When you lose your death grasp on outcomes, you remove the very impediment that hinders their arrival. The universe operates through attraction, not force. It responds not to desperate pulling, but to magnetic allowing, an ancient practice. Find a peaceful moment and visualize your innermost desire as a lovely bird perched in your open hands. Feel the warmth of its presence, its vital energy. Now, with a smile of utter faith, gently raise your hands and watch as it takes flight into the big sky above. Don't chase it with your eyes. Simply know that like all of nature's cycles, it will return when the time is perfect. Let your heart fill with the lightness of complete surrender. As you resume your day, knowing that what is genuinely yours can never miss you. Chapter 33, The Breath of Renewal. In the depths of a mountain valley, there lived a merchant who guarded his products, fearing it would slip away if he relinquished his grasp. Day after day he counted his goods, his anxiousness growing with each number, until one morning a wandering sage told him to simply watch the morning mist rise and fall, showing him how nature itself teaches the art of letting go. The universe talks through the rhythm of breath, this most fundamental dance between absorbing and releasing. When you cling too closely to results, you choke the very channel through which abundance pours. The eternal law requires space to work, enough to weave its wonderful tapestry. Irene Cook learned the sacred truth during her toughest season. Life had dragged hard upon her shoulders, till each day felt like wading through deep seas. Yet transformation happened not through striving, but through surrender. She began each dawn with a single deep breath, declaring herself new. With each inhale, she let fresh possibility to enter. With each breath, she released what was complete. The simplest of rituals, the conscious breath hold ability to reset the entire direction of fate. It washes the slate of yesterday's disappointments and opens a doorway to endless possibility. Through breath, you commune directly with the limitless intelligence that orchestrates all of creation. Lionel Crane's journey echoes this insight. After years of creative drought had left him drained and empty, he discovered regeneration via mindful breathing. Each morning he would sit in silent attention to the air passing through his body. Gradually, inspiration returned like spring following winter. His art flowed freely once more, for he had learned to absorb without clutching. The breath speaks the language of rebirth. It teaches that everything of life flows in cycles of giving and receiving. When you connect with this natural beat, you participate in the endless dance of creation. Your breath becomes a prayer, a pledge of trust in the flawless unfolding of all things. Ancient ritual for regeneration. Find a peaceful moment and get into a comfortable position. Inhale deeply, as though drawing dazzling possibility into your chest as you exhale. Think the words, "Thank you for letting go." Continue this quiet pace, noting how tranquility organically washes the slate of life. Let each breath become a fresh beginning. 34. The bridge of compassion. The power of compassion runs like an invisible stream through the weave of creation, touching and altering whatever it encounters. This truth exposes itself via innumerable lives, yet its essence stays unchanging since time immemorial. Consider the narrative of Mabel Frost, whose heart once held the weight of judgment. Each morning she would arise, carrying grudges like stones in her pockets, wondering why abundance seemed to pass her by. Yet something shifted when she began showing charity to others who crossed her path. With each act of forgiveness, she noticed her own burdens become lighter. The universe answered rapidly. Opportunities appeared as easily as flowers turning towards sunshine. Her manifestations accelerated not through more effort, but by the soft force of insight. The law acts with perfect accuracy in this sphere. When you resist compassion, you unwittingly erect barriers around your own benefits. Harold Vaughan learned this lesson through experience. His dreams flowed sluggishly, as though wading through thick muck until he discovered the source of resistance was within his own hardened heart. The simple act of criticizing others had created static in his realm of production. The cosmos speaks in a language of love, not as mere sentiment, but as the basic foundation upon which reality forms itself. Like electricity pouring through copper wire, creative force passes most efficiently through hearts opened by kindness. Your compassion functions as a conductor, allowing universal energy to flow unobstructed through your being and into manifestation. When you soften your look toward others, you simultaneously soften the resistance within yourself. Each act of forgiveness clears the channel via which your wishes flow. The law explains that love builds the structural support between souls, providing bridges across which abundance travels easily. Ancient practice of heart brightness. Find a peaceful moment and relax in the silence. Visualize soothing light going through your heart toward everyone facing pain or difficulties. See them clearly in your mind's eye, observing as this lovely light surrounds them until their face brightens with a smile. Notice how that same light reflects back to you, doubling in its intensity. Feel the warmth increasing in your chest as you comprehend the unbreakable connection between giving and receiving. Chapter 35. The Language of Energy. In the hallowed quiet between thoughts rests a power stronger than speech. The luminous energy that shapes experience before any words are spoken. This wisdom originates not only from ancient writings, but also from the living laboratory of human interaction. Ellen Pratt learned this fact via her personal change. Each day, she was fatigued from endless chats, attempting to guide people through correction and explanation. The more she spoke, the more resistance she faced. However, by infusing her silence with soft awareness and kind intention, she was able to effect a significant shift without saying anything. She noticed how others reacted to her presence differently. Her peaceful energy acted as a soothing salve, naturally inviting cooperation. The mood around her relaxed, and people who had before argued now listened intently. Prior to words, the universe operates through vibration. Ned York's experience demonstrates this principle well. He noticed that the temperature of rooms appears to change in response to his mental condition. When anxiety overtook him, Spaces felt frigid and constricting, but serenity filled his heart. The air itself appeared to warm and expand. His moods created invisible colors on reality's canvas, revealing how energy communicates long before speech does. The lecture reveals a profound truth. Mastery of atmosphere comes before mastery of circumstance. The area around you reacts to your energetic signature more quickly than to your words or actions. Much like a faint perfume, your inner state pervades your surroundings, teaching the quantum field how to organize itself. Every room becomes a temple, with your energies praying to the infinite. In this arena, the law works perfectly. Your presence communicates volumes even before your lips move. The cosmos reads your energetic language first, responding to vibration you emit rather than the words you use. This explains why the same phrase can produce dramatically different consequences depending on the energy behind it. By paying conscious attention to your energetic broadcast, you develop the ability to modify situations invisibly rather than imposing change through external means. You learn to control the environmental factors that shape your experiences. This subtle skill opens doors that mere persuasion alone cannot. The ancient tradition of atmospheric benediction. Before entering any venue, be it a meeting room, your house, or a public place, pause and take a big breath. Allow serenity to radiate from your being like beautiful waves of light. Imagine this tranquil energy creating invisible patterns of harmony on every wall, blessing the space before any engagement takes place. Feel events unfolding flawlessly within this holy environment. Your presence has cleared the path for grace to enter. Chapter 36. The Cycle Lesson. The silent intervals between words contain a vocabulary far more powerful than speech. Through vibration and intent, you communicate with the cosmos in ways that go beyond regular expression. Long ago, in a bustling marketplace, there lived a shopkeeper named Patty Glenn. Every morning, she entered her shop with a sorrowful heart, believing that tragedy followed her like a constant shadow. When her customer base dwindled, she saw only losses. When the inventory spoiled, she perceived retribution. Her days became a continuous circle of looming problems. But when the seasons changed, a deeper wisdom began to emerge. What looked to be repetition included tiny differences, much like a spiral staircase that appears to circle while continuously ascending. Each difficulty moved her closer to mastery. Every failure contains a germ of opportunity. The universe, in its great wisdom, was preparing rather than punishing. This reality is echoed in the story of Clyde Shaw, a craftsman who previously saw every mistake as divine displeasure. Each poor piece caused his hands to tremble, and he saw nothing but defeat, where refinement sat till morning to see leaves fall down from ancient trees. Understanding blossomed in his heart. Nature moves in cycles, not to replicate but to perfect. The global law speaks clearly. What appears to be repetition functions as rehearsal, like a pianist practicing scales or a dancer refining moves. The cosmos leads you through patterns until mastery emerges. Each spin of the wheel takes you closer to realizing your full potential. When situations appear to mirror previous problems, realize that you're not going in circles, but in spirals. Each return lifts you higher. Every cycle brings you closer to enlightenment. What feels like déjà vu is typically understanding of a lesson that is not to be fully absorbed. The law operates via patterns and cycles, never by punishment. It moves like a breath. Inhale, gathering knowledge. Exhale, releasing resistance. Recognizing this truth transforms apparent failures into opportunities for increased insight. Practice. Settle into silence and observe any recurring themes in your life. Rather than resisting its arrival, politely thank it for its persistent instruction. Breathe out any frustration or resistance you felt. Feel how this acceptance organically broadens your orbit, propelling you to new heights of awareness. Allow each breath to remind you that cycles are meant to help you grow, not constrain you. Chapter 37, The Horizon of Purpose. Every heart contains a holy goal, a divine purpose that, when recognized, elevates ordinary effort to remarkable fulfillment. Long ago, a young woman named Naomi Beck lived in a community surrounded by old hills. Every day, she would get up before dawn, making endless lists of goals and accomplishments. She accumulated successes like priceless stones, yet each win fell hollow. Though her hands were full of success, her spirit seemed strangely empty. The universe communicates with a gentle voice of meaning. When Naomi finally ceased her never-ending striving, she realized a fundamental truth. Creation delights not in the accumulation of success, but in the manifestation of genuine purpose. Her actual power was revealed not by what she accomplished, but by why her heart sung as she accomplished it. Dean Frost, an artisan whose early work generated meager profits, lived in the same village. However, unlike many, he opted to combine his profession with service to others. Rather than seeking wealth directly, he inquired about how his hands could alleviate his neighbors' difficulties. With every artwork he crafted, he instilled not only expertise, but real concern for those who would apply it. As naturally as daylight follows darkness, abundance streamed toward him, borne by the current of purpose. These narratives reflect a fundamental truth. Meaning maintains magnitude. When your acts are motivated by genuine purpose, the universe replies with limitless energy, much like a never-ending well. Purpose is renewed through the act of giving. This is a secret mechanism that underpins all lasting power, not willpower, but alignment with greater meaning. You may discover that your most powerful moments occur when you have a defined purpose, when your emotions and actions align in service of something bigger than yourself. Energy flows without effort. This is not a coincidence. It is the natural rule of aim at work. The cosmos never tires of supporting what is actual meaning, just as the sun never tires of shining. Purpose-driven action draws on an eternal reservoir of power. Your responsibility is not to create this power, but rather to align with it via deliberate desire. Ancient practice of purpose and alignment. Ask softly what intention lurks behind my desires. Allow the response to arise in the form of feeling of love. Compass for all future actions. Chapter 38. The Light Beyond Mastery. In a world that requires constant action, you may find yourself exhausted. Every spiritual technique seeks the ideal way to connect with universal force. However, the deepest truth lies in pure simplicity. Lydia Webb spent years perfecting manifestation techniques, affirmations, and energy work. She stuffed notebooks with protocols and procedures, convinced that exact implementation would win the universe's favor. Each morning started with elaborate rituals, and each evening ended with calculated meditations. Though results were obtained, they necessitated continual maintenance, much like a garden. Then, one routine afternoon, while sitting in her favorite recliner, something changed. The tiredness of attempting faded away, replaced with profound recognition. She had always been what she desired. Lydia realized at that point that she no longer needed to arrange outcomes, since her mere presence, when grounded in quiet understanding via life's blessings, was sufficient. Her very being became an invitation. Herbert Nash followed a similar path of constant striving. He read old writings, attended workshops, and tried numerous strategies to perfect his relationship with cosmic law. Year after year, he pushed himself toward mastery, convinced that the ultimate key to power lied ahead. Herbert simply halted in that place of surrender one day, exhausted by his never-ending search. He felt what was always true. His one with the source took no effort. Like a wave, understanding it was the ocean. He relaxed into the knowledge that had been waiting for his realization all along. From that day forward, life flowed around him with beautiful elegance, responding to his inherent state of being rather than his strategies. These stories depict the ultimate progression of power, the dissolving of method into pure presence. When you stop striving to be and simply are, the universe recognizes itself in you. This demonstrates true mastery, the serene relationship with the source that does not necessitate any particular rituals or complicated practices. The ancient practice of sitting in solitude with your eyes closed and sensing enormous friendliness all around you. Whisper, I and the universe are one rhythm. Then let nothing more be required. If you enjoyed this audiobook, I've developed a free ebook edition for you. You can get it from the link in the pinned remark. Conclusion: the power of the cosmos pervades every atom, breath, and moment, not as a distant force, but as the very essence of your being. This ability requires nothing from you but recognition. It requires no intricate formulas, expensive ceremonies, or unique permits, such as gravity. It simply operates with absolute consistency, whether acknowledged or not. Through these chapters, you've seen this reality disguised in various transformation stories, in times of surrender, in shifts of perspective. However, behind each lesson is one constant principle. The universe reflects your inner condition with mathematical precision. Worrying increases anxiety. When you trust, it replies with organized elegance. Appreciation enhances abundance. Your role isn't persuade the cosmos to favor you. It already does. Your duty is just to bring your awareness into alignment with the power that flows endlessly. This connection occurs not via force, but by acceptance, begging, and knowing. You have always created your own experience. Though you may be unconscious of this hallowed position, every thought you have, every emotion you cultivate, and every belief you hold causes ripples in the fabric of existence. The universe, in its infinite wisdom, interprets these messages not as pleas, but as commands. Today is the day you consciously align yourself with this force. You no longer have to wait for life to come to you. You don't have to wait for a lucky break to make your aspirations come true. You are now a conscious partner with cosmic intelligence. Your awareness is a prism through which unlimited potential manifests. This is not a theory. We are awaiting proof. It is law that awaits your participation. When you accept this fact, the cosmos embraces you back with perfect reflection. Your position as creator was never questioned. Only your acceptance was delayed. If you enjoyed this unique audiobook, I have handpicked the next book that will alter your life.